ladies, and welcome to Joy for Midlife Women. I'm Cheryl Jones, your host, and I am so happy to share my program with you. The theme is quilting. March is National Craft Month, and March 19th is National Craft Day. So let's get started. Sewing is my craft of choice, and I have been sewing for quite a long time, but I can only think of once or twice that I have tried my hand at quilting. I've mastered sewing for over 30 years, creating women's clothing and home interiors. So I am very interested in quilting and may try that one day. But definitely every opportunity that I have to see quilts or attend a exhibit, I do, because I am in awe at the way the makers of these quilts create the colors and the textures of fabric they put together and the intricate stitching that they do to create such a piece of art. Quilting has been and always will be a craft of functionality and beauty, accomplished with much skill and technique. Ever since 1760s in the United States, women have been making beautiful quilts with a lot of hand stitching. Now, today, in this late 1900s and 2000s, we find women using wonderful machinery to produce their quilts. Quilting allows us to see historical moments and social movements all tied to fine arts. I recently had the opportunity to meet the internationally acclaimed master textile and quilt designer, Ed Johnetta Miller. And this exhibition was held at the Art for the Soul Gallery in Springfield, Mass. Here you will see some small samplings of the pieces I viewed at the exhibit. Now there were 25 or more quilts on display, and it was said that she created those quilts just for the exhibit. And this was while experiencing very severe arthritis in her hands. So she is definitely a lover, a maker of quilts. I hope that you can see the intricate designs from the photos here of her quilts. The colors, the shapes, the many textures, they all tell a story. If we wanted to touch those quilts, we were given gloves to put on so that we would prevent putting oils onto the quilts. One of the things that Miss Miller likes to do is create faces. And we talked to her about, we asked questions about, are they people that you know? What inspired you to make those faces? And she said, I just sat down and I started drawing faces, emotional faces. And so you may see some of that in her quilts. Now, a little background about Edginetta Miller. She's an author. She's a fiber artist teacher with an upcoming class in the local area if you are interested. Her work can be found at the Renwick Gallery of the Smithsonian Museum of Art in Washington, D.C., the Contemporary Quilt Museum in Colorado, the Wadsworth Museum of Art in Hartford, Connecticut. You can find her work at Nelson Mandela's Museum, Cape Town, South Africa. She's done types of quilts for children at the Hartford Hospital and also on display at the Yale New Haven Children's Hospital, at the U.S. Embassy in Benin, West Africa, just to name a few places that you would see her work. Now, if you are a viewer of HGTV like I am, she's been on Simply Quilts, she's been on Modern Masters Holiday Show, and even actress Debbie Allen's series, Cool Women, and also on WGBH Boston channel, and lots more. Miss Miller is also a curator of quilts, and she has an art agent to help her locate historical quilts to add to her collection. I have one such quilt that she purchased. It's a red jazz design quilt, and it's said to be worth $10,000 now. Also, you will see a video where Miss Miller is speaking about the creation of a beige quilt made somewhere around the 1900s from tobacco sacks. And they're cleaned and used, cut and used to make wonderful quilts. You'll hear more about that.
So this young boy, it was his job for his mom to go around and pick up all of the pouches, bring them back to the cabin, and take live soap and wash them. And then what Mom would do, okay, so I pick a little cotton for you, and then I take it and stick it underneath my little pouch here, and take it back to the cabinet.
We also have another video where Miss Miller is answering a question about how to care for your quilts.
But it's the whole process working with these quilts, you know, the whole process. And this is just like, as Rosemary knows, this is just a little bit, because I couldn't love everything, okay? Yes.
Are they insured?
Oh, gosh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Hello.
Hello. Listen, my business administration background helped me out a lot, okay? I was reluctant because I wanted to be an artist, and then I went to school, Bryant University, to do business.
Right.
But let me tell you, everything's insured.
I have a few history tidbits about quilts. The earliest quilts date back to 1785, made in Maine. Many of the first quilts were created by slave women who became quite skilled in creating quilts, and their type of quilt was like applique. A woman by the name of Harriet Powers, born a slave in 1837, is known to have created biblical story quilts, also out of applique. And these have been handed down through generations, and still today many African American women create applique quilts. Quilts were also made to raise funds to support the abolitionist movement. They were created during the Civil War to give warmth and comfort to soldiers. Now here's the fact about the tobacco sacks. From the 1940s and 1950s, farm feeds were delivered in sacks as well. And these sacks were printed with a lot of designs on them, so they were strong, they were durable, and they were decorative. They were cleaned, and they were used to make thousands of quilts. I've also was shared a few quilts that I want to show you from women showing their personal quilts at the exhibit. One lady showed a quilt that was given to her after the death of her husband, and her friend created the quilt from her husband's shirts and ties and suits and presented it with her, and it now hangs in her house as a memorable piece. Another quilt that you will see here, a quilt or two, are from a friend. They're known to be from the Civil War time. So I thank the Kent family for sharing those two quilts with me as well. The tradition of quilting continues today as a social and artistic space where women connect throughout the generations. It's estimated that in the United States, there are about 21 million women quilters. Quilting is now considered an art piece where it's transformed into women creating small pieces of quilt and framing it and putting it on the wall. We have table runners that are made from quilting, and many articles of clothing reflect quilting and applique. So that's it for quilting today, and I really hope that you've enjoyed seeing some of the quilts and enjoyed this experience as much as I have. But there's more joy for you. I'd like to make sure you know about the Joy magazine. It's filled with a lot of information that you might like to enjoy. In fact, the first issue of this year talks about International Women's Day, which is in March as well. And we have featured 2 local women in this magazine as well that are just sheroes in their community. We also have heart-healthy wellness tips for you, healthy recipes. We have a shop local so that you can support other women entrepreneurs. So if you have not seen Joy magazine, I'd love to send you a complimentary issue. Just contact me at joyeditor19@gmail.com, or you may go to the website. The magazine is available by subscription. And who is on the back of the magazine but me and the Community Voice channel? Thank you for watching today, checking in with us, and until next time, stay joyful.